Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy AC200 Gaming back with another YouTube video, and I just want to make a disclaimer. I understand this is not really a gaming video, so it is going on the gaming channel. I just put a lot of time and effort into this video, and I feel like it's kind of a shame to put it on my main channel, which only has a couple subscribers, and I'm lucky to get more than 10 or 20 views on it. So I feel like it's only right to put it on this channel, whether some more people could see it and enjoy it. Yes, I understand it's not a gaming video, but I think people will still enjoy it regardless if it's on a non-gaming channel versus a gaming channel. But yeah, like I said, did take a long time to make this video. I purposely rewatched all the Spider-Man movies to make this video, starting from the Sam Raimi trilogy, Spider-Man 2002, to the newest movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. And I will, spoiler alert, I will be talking a little bit about Spider-Man No Way Home. I only watched it twice, so I don't really have a full, honest opinion on where I want to put it on the list. But you will see what I do end up doing with the movie. Like I said, it did take a while to make this video, so make sure to drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. And if you do enjoy these types of videos, I'm planning on making one just strictly based off the suits. So if you guys would like to see that, maybe put in the comment section below. So I hope you guys can understand why this is going on the gaming channel. Like I said, it took a while to make. It just doesn't make sense to put it on my personal channel that only has a couple subs and only close family friends that watch it. So I hope you guys can understand. But without further ado, here's my honest opinion and review of every single Spider-Man movie. Enjoy.
Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big day. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find a Spider-Man.
You probably clicked on this video because you're just as big as a Spidey fan as I am. Nostalgic aside, I've been watching this web slinger for as long as I can remember. He's on my 4th-year-old birthday cake, for crying out loud. And it probably goes the same for you, whether it was this one, this guy, or especially this guy. And if you're a weirdo, this guy. But hey, I'm not here to judge who's your favorite Spider-Man, but we are judging movies. All the Spider-Man movies are splendid and awesome in their own ways. There are just some that are a little bit better than others. See, some Spider-Man movies are like the Mona Lisa of art. They're amazing and almost pure perfect. And some Spider-Man movies are just a random piece of art in a random art museum you never heard of. Regardless, they're all still art. Something that always stood out to me is the way Stan Lee tried to explain to people who is Spider-Man.
Stan, I want you to come up with another superhero. So I said, okay, and I went home, and when my publisher said do something, I'd better do it because I wanted to keep my job. I thought, what can I come up with now? And the most important thing in a superhero at first is the superpower. Once you get that, everything else comes along. So I thought, what power will I give a new guy? And I saw a fly crawling on the wall. And I said, hey, if I could get a superhero that could stick to walls and crawl on them, man, that would be cool. So I thought that was good. Now I needed a name. So I said, well, let's see, Fly Man, Mosquito Man. I got down to Spider-Man. Spider-Man. It just sounded dramatic. So, okay, I had my hero, I had his power, his name, and then I figured just for fun, I'm gonna give him personal problems. Because except for you people who are that your lives are perfect, but most other people have personal problems. And then I thought I'd make him a teenager, because there were no teenage superheroes that I knew of at the time. So armed with all that wonderful material, those great ideas, I ran into my publisher's office and I told him. This was my reaction, the reaction he gave me. Stan, that is the worst idea I have ever heard.
Just really goes to show you how far the web slinger Peter Parker has really come. With the newest, most talked MCU movie like ever, Spider-Man No Way Home, roughly being out for like a month now, I thought it'd be the perfect time to rank all 9 of these motherfuckers. Yes, all 9 Spider-Man movies from worst to best. So get your tacos ready. Don't forget to pay your rent.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door!
And here's my Spidey movies ranked from worst to best. Enjoy. Yes, are you surprised that this movie's here? Honestly. It's too bad to the most hyped intro to any Spider movie I've ever seen is at the bottom of the list. It really does suck. And honestly, like, watching Spider-Man No Way Home recently, I really do like Andrew as Spider-Man. I think he is the definition of Spider-Man and plays Spider-Man perfectly. But if we're talking like Peter Parker, I would have to give it to Tom, but we'll get to him later. He plays Spider-Man very well, and so does his girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, but, you know, she doesn't last too long. The best part about these two movies is Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield. They play the roles very well, and I could be biased because she's probably the best looking MJ/Gwen Stacy we got in, but I don't know. So, why is this movie so bad? Is what you're probably asking. To be honest, you got the web swinging scenes, you got the funny Spider-Man jokes, the villains are whatever. You got Lizard, and for the Amazing Spider-Man 2, you got Electro. But right now we're focusing on the Amazing Spider-Man. The story is just not it. Like, it's just shit, man. It's just about this guy who wants to grow his arm back and then also turn evil for no reason and turn the whole city into lizards for what? And he also works at Oscorp. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It honestly ruins the original Spider-Man story. And for a movie that's like the first out of the series, it plays it terribly. There's no origin story. The way he gets his suit is dumb. I don't know. His homemade suit's even worse. And I didn't like the gold eyes on the first movie. The second movie, there was an upgrade. If I'm gonna show you guys a side by side here, you'll see what I mean. Like, the first suit's disgusting compared to the second one, but yeah, like the suit was bad, and also like they just kept milking the whole like, oh, what happens to his dad, and it happens in the second one too, and you don't even really find out what happens to his dad. So it's just like the whole movie is about his showing off what happens to his dad, and then you never really find out anything. But like, I don't know, I just find that like, if you're gonna make this first Spider-Man movie, you gotta get the origin story, you gotta get the build up to becoming Spider-Man, and it does that all in one like scene, and that's it. So I really do like Andrew. Recently watching No Way Home, I do appreciate him as Spider-Man, but if I put him any higher, it's just going to be disrespect to the other movies. So fortunately, The Amazing Spider-Man has to go in number 9. And right beside it, his big brother, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, the only reason why I put this movie a little bit higher is because Electro is badass. And other than that, it's the same garbage story. Like I said, I do really like Andrew. I do like Gwen Stacy. The characters are great. It's just the movie gets ruined by the story, and it sucks because, like I said, Andrew does a great job playing Spider-Man, but again, it just gets ruined by the story. And I've had whatever the problems I had with the first one, the same with the second one, pretty much. The swinging was sick in this movie. The Electro fight was the last fight with Electro was really sick. They just like also cut off half the cast. Like, you lose the father in the first one, you lose the Lizard in the first one, you lose Electro in this one, you lose Harry in this one, pretty much. You lose Gwen Stacy in this one. You lost Gwen Stacy's dad. It's just like, yeah, they cut off half the cast, and also the biggest cliffhanger for no fucking reason. With the Rhino, like, it just doesn't make sense at all. And there is a rumor that they are doing TASM 3. So if that's true, I really hope they push through, and a lot of people are being like, oh, they're going to make a symbiote suit. Like, I don't know. We'll see. They could, since technically these movies are now MCU movies, they could add the Tom Hardy Venom, right? Who knows? But like I said, yeah, this movie's just, there's not really much to talk about. Same problems with the first one. The only reason why I put it a little bit higher is because I do really like the Electro scene, and the swinging in this movie's great. But it gets ruined with the story, unfortunately. So, sorry, Andrew, but we love you, but your movies are just not it. Number 7. Spider-Man Homecoming is a very interesting movie because it's right after the Avengers movie, so there's no need for an origin story and no need to explain who he is because everyone already knows. So that's why it's a little bit iffy of a movie, but don't get me wrong, this movie is great. It's right after the Avengers movie. You got Iron Man, and he gets into the Iron Spider, and it's right after the blimp with Thanos. So this movie does a great job throwing you right in. But also, I just didn't really find the need with the whole Vulture thing and all that. But this Spider-Man is good. This is what we need in Spider-Man. This is what I was talking about with Peter Parker. Like, this shows a good Peter Parker. You know, he's in school. He's a bit of a nerd. Blah, blah, blah. He's trying to handle the girlfriend and also do superhero stuff at the same time. It does all of that. Now, I don't really have any problems with this movie, but the only problems I do have with it is he's not really Spider-Man. It's always Iron Man's helping him, this and that, and he's trying to become an Avenger. So it is a different type of Spider-Man movie, which is okay. Like I said in the beginning of this video, all these movies are great. I do love all these movies, but I like some more than others. So there's not really nothing wrong with this movie. If this was a tier list video, it would be in the C and B tier, you know. But yeah, it doesn't mean that it's bad. We're just doing from worst to best. So if we're doing a tier list video, I would put this in B and C tier. And now that I mention it, I would put the Amazing Spider-Man maybe in D. If it was from A to E, I'd put it in D tier. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, I'd put the Amazing Spider-Man, then the Amazing Spider-Man 2 higher than it. But yeah, this movie's great. It does a good job, you know, getting you right into it. The scenes are sick too with the school. It's just, yeah, they did a good job with this movie, and it's a fan favorite for me and fan favorite for most people. On to the next one. Number 6, Spider-Man Far From Home. This movie is right after Endgame, and it's good because that was like one of the biggest Marvel movies we had, so a lot of people were excited to see this one. With Iron Man being dead, Spider-Man, Tom Holland is more dependent now, and it's good to see that. You know, he's not really Iron Man Jr. anymore. One thing that really stuck out to this movie for me was near the end with the hallucination scene. That's like hands down the best scene in this movie. That was really cool. So I do find that Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, they're interchangeable. Like, you could put one higher than the other. They're both just as good, right? So I can't really say that Homecoming's better than Far From Home, but I just found myself enjoying Far From Home more than Homecoming, if that makes sense. Like, they're both good movies, but I just found this one a little bit more enjoyable to watch. But they're both good. Yeah, Tom Holland does a good job playing Spider-Man, or as Peter Parker, like I said earlier, in The Amazing Spider-Man. I really find that Andrew's a good Spider-Man, but Tom Holland's a really good Peter Parker. You know, he's still trying to chase the girlfriend, also handling school. You don't really see that much in The Amazing Spider-Man versus this movie. It's cool with the school trip. You know, he's trying to balance his Peter Parker life and his Spider-Man life at the same time, so it's really cool to see that balance. And also, he tells Zendaya that he's Spider-Man, which is cool. And you got the Night Monkey suit, which was kind of lame, but the black and red suit, which was introduced in this movie, was really cool. So the only reason why I put it a little bit higher than Homecoming is because of that scene with Mysterio was really cool, and also the suits. It had more suits, and I just found there was more in this movie to really look at versus Homecoming. So for that reason, that's why it's a little bit higher. On to the next film. Alright, it's time for the big guns now. The Sam Raimi trilogy, for most people, is honestly perfect. And at one point, this was up in my top 3 to top 2 Spider-Man movie. But like I said, I rewatched all of them, and I have to realize that this movie isn't as good as I remember it being. Yeah, I was freaking out when I was 12 years old to see Spider-Man turn into Venom, but as I come to realize, it's whatever of a movie. The Sam Raimi first number 1 and 2 movies are perfect, and this just flies it right out of the water. There are a lot of good things about this film, like this. And for the longest time, I didn't understand why this movie got so much hate. It was honestly, out of the 3, one of my favorites. I'm not even kidding when I say that. This was, out of the Sam Raimi trilogy, at one point, my favorite film out of the 3. And I think it's because of nostalgic. When I was a kid, I used to always like this one more than the others. I thought the Venom was so sick. Sandman was sick. The Venoms are top-notch in this film, but it just, for some reason, unbalances out of the trilogy. It is a little goofy, and you know that the story isn't really there with Peter Parker, but the Spider-Man story is all there. You got very cool villains back. You got some good storyline, but like I said, the Peter Parker storyline's kind of lame. It's about, you know, Mary Jane not liking him anymore, and Harry just becoming a bad guy for some reason. And also he tried killing him earlier and he lost his memory. It's a whole like mixed up emotions with this film. You know, you got like a bunch of stuff to realize what's happening, and it doesn't really like close it well together, if that makes sense. Like, it does a good job doing the movie, but it doesn't do a good job closing the movie. Like, it has all this stuff happening and it doesn't really flow together. So that's what I really noticed. But I really do love the Venom and Sandman scene. I really do like the Harry Green Goblin with the board. I thought that was so sick. And even just the Venom Spider-Man as itself, the Billy Maguire memes, all of it. It's honestly a pretty good movie, and some people might get mad at me putting these over the Tom Holland movies, but it's the Sam Raimi trilogy and you have to respect it. And I maybe be a little biased because of nostalgia, but man, I still love this movie. I don't know what it is. Some people would put this as their bottom of the list. I noticed a lot of people really dislike this movie, and looking at some other tier lists before I made this, just to kind of like see what people were thinking. Obviously, this is my opinion. I don't care about anyone else's opinion, but I noticed that a lot of people put this movie very low, and I can't see why. Like, it's one of the original Spider-Man. You have to respect it, but I don't know. I might be biased, but anyways, enough of Sam Raimi. We'll get to him some more. On to the next film. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse does a great job telling you that not every movie needs to be live action. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a crazy, wicked movie that tells you all about the Spider-Verse and does a hell of a great job explaining it. And as a newer character, Miles Morales, introduced in the 2011 comic in the MCU, it does a good job kind of opening the character on who he is. And, you know, now making with the new movie coming out actually pretty soon, I can't wait for it. This is a wonderful movie and just kind of explains to you, you know, the different versions of Spider-Man. It kind of is similar to No Way Home now that I think about it, but this movie like is really an eye-opener because it's more, the art style is crazy. You know, he's got his Jordans on and he's more of like a guy from Brooklyn, and you know, and Peter Parker's not there around, and it does a really good job kind of opening this new character. And I really like the way they did this movie. You know, it's different than all the other ones. There's not really another Spider-Man like it. You know what I mean? It's a very different Spider-Man movie compared to the other ones, so that's why it's way higher up on the list. And I can't wait for the second one to come out. I think it comes out in 2 months from now by the time I'm making this video. But we'll see. Maybe I have to make an update to your list. Who knows? But yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, definitely up there for sure. I think we can all agree this is like an easily top 5 Spider-Man movie for sure. I was planning on counting the Venom and Carnage movies, but those aren't technical Spider-Man movies. But this movie for sure, this is barely a Spider-Man movie, but no, it's up there for sure, man. Like, Miles Morales is a cool character. It kind of explains it. I recently played the video game, so it made me open my eyes more on Miles Morales, the character himself. So Miles Morales, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, easily a number 4 spot. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the top 3. I can listen to that soundtrack all day. This is what I'm talking about. These are the Spider-Man movies. These are the ones. The Sam Raimi. Finally, I get to talk about them. Where do I even begin? Nostalgic aside, these movies are beautiful. Perfect web swinging. Perfect storytelling. This is the first movie I ever watched in theaters, I'm pretty sure. The second one I wasn't allowed to watch. I watched in the dentist, and the first one was my very first film watching. These movies really, really put a smile on my face anytime I hear a scene or soundtrack. And that suit, man, oh my god. This movie, I think we can all agree, puts a special spot in all of our hearts. We all grew up with it. It's the very first Spider-Man film. Like, you just can't beat it. Tobey Maguire, man, is the definition of Peter Parker. Great Spider-Man, but he really hits well on Peter Parker. I did talk about Tom being a good Peter Parker, but he also does a splendid job. The web swinging for the time being at this movie was top notch. You gotta remember, this is 2002, ladies and gentlemen, or 2004. The first one was in 2002. So like for 2004, these movies were incredible. Seeing this on the big screen was mind blowing. And I gotta say though, The Amazing Spider-Man probably does have the best web swinging films, but look what you're looking at right now. This is incredible. These movies, man, I could watch them thousands and thousands of times, and that's when you know it's a good Spider-Man film. Good storytelling. It doesn't really need much talking about. It's the Sam Raimi trilogy. Most people would put this as their number one. I love Doc Ock, what they did with him. I personally liked Green Goblin a little bit more, and I think you know where I'm heading, where number one is, but man, these movies are almost perfect. And the only reason why I say almost perfect is because for 2002, like, these are incredible. Like, looking at them now, they're still amazing. And sometimes it's hard to appreciate older stuff because, you know, there's better movies nowadays and like this. But when you look at this, this still looks like a great movie to watch. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't messing around when they made this film. And for that, it's staying up there too. And Far From Home, seeing this guy back on the big screen, spoiler alert, seeing this guy back on the big screen was amazing. You know, like, just having the old suits again and seeing all three of them together, and especially this guy, like he made No Way Home. You know what I mean? Like, this is the reason why I was so hyped up, because of this guy right here. Like, the original Spider-Man, like, you can't really beat it. The film's awesome too. I really like what they did with the power of my sun, the palm of my hands, with the ocean. It's just a well done suit, and the suit, man, is perfect too. Like, the well done movie with the well done suit, it's just, there's nothing more you can ask for, man. And Spider-Man 1 is a little, the only reason why I'm putting Spider-Man 1 a little bit higher, because it's got the origin story with the wrestling match and this too. But the thing about this movie, it just throws you straight into Spider-Man. You already know the story, which is good, but yeah, the number one and number two are both incredible movies. If I didn't have to say it many times, like, these movies, man, there's something about them. Like, just hearing the music and like seeing these scenes, like, really, really puts a special place in most of our hearts. And I think you guys are going. Do you think I know where we're going with this? I think you guys know where we're going with this. Show the number one. Show the number one spot. Let's go. And if it wasn't obvious enough, my number one pick for the best Spider-Man movie goes to Spider-Man 2002. And I do want to give an honorable mention to Spider-Man Far From Home, because I haven't really decided where I want to put it, but it's definitely number one or two for sure. I would have to say it would be, if I was going to add it, would be Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Far From Home, then Spider-Man 1. And you can't compare both these movies. They're both excellent. Like, Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1, like, the fights in Spider-Man 2 are amazing. The introduction to this movie is amazing. The scenes in this movie are... The scenes in Spider-Man 2 are better, but the scenes in this movie are great. Like, you got the Green Goblin, like, arguably, like, the most iconic Spider-Man villain ever. Like, it's all there, man. The wrestling scene, like, it's all literally stripped from the comic, and you're looking at it with your eyes. Like, it's right there in front of you. Like, they did a great job. this movie gets talked about so much, so like I don't really think there's much to talk about, man. Like these are the Spider-Man movies. Like when you think of Spider-Man movies, this is the first guy that pops in your head. He was the first to do it. He was the best to do it. I think we can all agree, man. What an iconic Spider-Man. Like for real. Like I don't know, a lot of people do say though that like he looks like older, and like yeah, like when you think of Spider-Man, you think of a young dorky kid, a smart young dorky kid, and he doesn't really do that well of a job of that. But like, you gotta remember, this is 2002. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna hire, like, that's just how it was back then in high school. So looking at it now, it's different. But regardless, man, the web swinging, the music, everything about this movie is splendid. The Green Goblin, you got Doc Ock, right, in the second one. And even in the third one, you got Venom and Sandman. What other superhero villains do you need? You got them all. You got all the good ones. You know what I mean? And to bang it off with Green Goblin, the first film, was awesome. And, like, already people were asking for the next one. And, like, this movie, like, I don't think there's much to talk about. It's the first Spider-Man movie. Like, it's perfect. Nostalgic aside, this movie's great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a general good, like, well-scripted movie. Like, you see both sides of him trying to becoming Peter Parker, and the girlfriend, like, explains that job very well. And, like, he has to balance, like, the very end of the scene where he has the kids and the girlfriend. Like, it shows a good point of view. Like, he has to challenge both being Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He can't live the same life. You know what I mean? Like, it does a great job showing that. And, like, just the suit and the very wide pointy eyes. Like, it's just, oh man, like, I think it's a no-brainer. Like, when you really watch this movie, like, it's a great Spider-Man film, and it still is my favorite Spider-Man film. Like, this has been up there for a while for me, but I've always did like 3, but like I said, I rewatched all of them, and this is without a doubt the best Spider-Man movies out of the Sam Raimi trilogy. Like, I think we can all agree. 2 is very close. 3 is like, it's a ball game, but the scenes I like a lot in 3. But this movie, man, just wow. Like, the whole, like, Harry Osborn finds out Spider-Man killed him, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just does a great job showing that. And for our honorable mention, Spider-Man Far From Home. Yes, before you flame me in the comments, I meant No Way Home. These titles all sound the same. I'm sorry. Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, I only watched this movie twice, so I got a mix of emotions on it. The ending I love because, spoiler alerts, by the way, if you haven't watched it yet, but because I'm going to talk about it. The ending is like, he forgets everything about him, and he's technically not an Avenger, and it's just kind of like the comic book Spider-Man. He's becoming the comic book Spider-Man. You can tell by the new suit, and like, I really like that aspect. Like, he's just becoming his own new person, like actually Spider-Man. So now they're actually going to make Spider-Man movies. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, with Morpheus and shit like that. So I think that's really dope. And like, just seeing William Dafoe and like Doc Ock and like Electro and like all the original cast on one screen was anyone could ask for. Like, this is without a doubt easily one of the higher Marvel movies for sure. Like, for sure. It had one of the biggest box office. I was freaking out when you were watching it. You were freaking out when you were watching it. Seeing Toby and Andrew through that portal, man, was the biggest oh my god moment I've ever had watching an Avengers movie. Like, it was incredible. Like, that experience watching it for the first time, I almost want to wish I could have it again. You know what I mean? Like, seeing all these guys back, it's just incredible. And it's an honorable mention because I only watched it twice, so I don't have a full opinion on it, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the movie since it's been out for a while. Like, holy crap, it was a top-notch movie for sure. Like, the Green Goblin played so well in this movie, and like their interactions with the Spider-Mans like is what anyone could ever ask for. You got Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all on the same screen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing else you could really ask for. So for sure, it's up there with the Sam Raimi trilogy. Would I put it number 1? It's a close call. It's definitely in between 1 or 2. And I think you guys can all agree with my tier list. Like, let me know in the comment section below. Like, is this valid or no? Because I don't know. I thought I had it pretty spot on. I watched all the movies beforehand. I hope you guys can agree, though. If you haven't watched Spider-Man No Way Home, what the hell are you doing? So yeah, there it is. Every single Spider-Man movie from Spider-Man 2002 to all the way from Spider-Man Far From Home. So yeah, like just like that, we banged at every single movie. I think we hit them all spot on. If you guys have opinions, I would like to hear them. Let me know in the comment section below. This video did take a while to make. Here's a picture of the tier list if you're curious. If this was in tier list form, this is what I would put it in. There it is on the screen right there. But yeah, there it is. Every Spider-Man movie ranked from worst to best. This video was hard to make, trying to put movies on top of each other versus making it a tier list. But there you go. You saw the tier list if I had to make it in tier list form. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want a suit video, videos just strictly based off worst to best suits, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. And I really hope to catch you guys in the next video. Consider subscribing, drop a like. See you Spidey fans in the next one. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility.